deportation force during the campaign, Donald Trump has seemingly tailored his immigration plans to a specific group now that he's been elected.
About the pledge to deport millions and millions of undocumented immigrants.
What we are going to do is get the people that are criminal and have criminal records, gang members, drug dealers. We have a lot of these people, probably 2 million, it could even be 3 million. We're getting them out of our country or we're going to incarcerate. But we're getting them out of our country. They're here illegally. After the border is secured and after everything gets normalized, we're going to make a determination on the people that you're talking about.
My next guest is all too familiar with this issue. Her name is Lundy Coy. Her parents brought her to this country from Cambodia when she was just 1 year old. She is a legal U.S. resident, but she also has a criminal record, something she writes about in a New York Times op-ed directed at Mr. Trump. Lundy, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, and thank you for being here, because I was just going to say it's incredibly brave of you to have written that op-ed and to appear on national television.
Yes, it's scary. It's a scary time, and it's been a scary time for me for quite a long time, for not just myself, but for my family and my son and my husband. So trying my best to try to fight this and remain here in the U.S., you know, because I've been here since I was 1. I've never been to Cambodia.
Well, let me take our viewers back to the beginning so that they understand. Your parents fled Cambodia in fear for their lives way back in 1981. They eventually settled in California. You were 1 year old at the time, so you don't have U.S. citizenship, but you certainly consider yourself an American, right?
Absolutely, yes. Everything about me is American. You know, I've been living here since I was 1. I grew up here. I've never left the country, and everything I know in my life is everything American. You know, so to want to deport me to a country that I've never set foot on. I was actually born in a refugee camp in Thailand. My parents had to flee their country because of genocide and war, where millions and millions of Cambodians died. So bringing me here, and I was only 1, and now I'm 36 years old, and all I know is America.
So here's the problem that you have. You went to college, right? And you did what so many other college students do sometimes. You did something really stupid. Yeah. And you were arrested for possessing ecstasy, and you actually served some time in jail. So tell us about that.
Yes, ma'am. When I was 19 years old, my first year of college, I didn't have a lot of freedom in high school, so I made some really poor choices my first year of college because I wanted to fit in. And I was introduced to ecstasy, and at the time didn't know that it was an illegal substance. I honestly told the cops when they approached me about drugs, I shared it with them that I did have these pills, and learned that they were illegal and that I could be sentenced to 10 years. But the judge let me out after 3 months in jail, and she let me out because said, you know, you're not a drug dealer, you're not selling drugs out of a basement, you're obviously dumb and young and naive. So she let me out of jail and gave me 4 years of probation.
Okay, and in the interim, you went to work, you became a great citizen, you wanted to make your parents proud, and you have. But there came a day not so long ago that the immigration police came. What happened?
Yeah, that was a nightmare. I thought I was just going to a regular, probation meeting. My probation officer had asked me to come in, and I went there, even with my report card, to show her the grades that I was getting A's, and I was working full-time, getting good grades, and wanted to share this with her. And when I went into my probation meeting, it turned that it was immigration officers, and they immediately arrested me and said that I am going to be detained, and I'm going to court, and I will be most likely deported to Cambodia because of my conviction when I was 19 years old.
So that deportation order has been hanging over your head for how long?
Since I was 23 years old, and now I'm 36, so more than 15 years.
So you've been fighting it, you've retained a lawyer, and now Donald Trump is going to become president of the United States. So what do you think will happen?
Well, right now I have a final order of deportation. My lawyer and I discussed it that what we can do is get the federal government to agree to reopen my case and complete a cancellation of deportation so I can remain here with my family. Or the president can give me a pardon so I can also, that's another option. But there's just so much uncertainty, Ms. Costello. I don't know what else to do. So in 2012 was when I decided I need to share my story, because I'm not a drug dealer, I'm not a gang member, I'm just a ordinary person that just wants to stay home, where I feel like I belong.
What would you say to those people who are listening who say, you know what, I feel my heart aches for you, but you did break the law, and we have to obey the law in the United States, and you have to go.
The immigration laws are very strict and rigid. I've been punished for my crime already, and I feel that sending me to a country that I've never been to, that I don't know anybody, I'm not really familiar with the country at all, it's more than just it's a life sentence, and I just don't think that's a humane thing to do to someone, myself or anyone, to be sending them off to some place that they're not familiar with.
All right, I have to leave it there. Lundy Coy, all the best to you, and thank you so much for being with me this morning and sharing your story. And by the way, last year, just so you know, 400,000 people were deported by the U.S. government.